I wanted to make a quick video today testing what I think are sort of the three most, interesting drivers, or certainly because they're new releases, they're the ones that I'm getting asked about the most. And just quickly how I have them set up. So Cobra is going to be in 9 degrees. All three heads are 9 degrees static. I'm not going to adjust for loft. I'm going to leave them all at 9. I do have the weight a little bit more in the toe, so 10 grams in the toe versus the 3-gram weight in the heel. I think that's going to suit me well. A little bit more of the fade bias tends to help me not hit that overdraw shot, which is my miss. And with the shaft in the Cobra, I've got a Ventus Black 6X in there. And then with the Rogue ST, again, triple diamond version, right at 9 degrees this time. So last time I tested it, I had a tour sleeve in. This time it's a regular sleeve. It's the stock 10C AV white that you can get with a driver for, I believe, no extra upcharge. So this will play right at 9 degrees neutral, no adjustments there. And then with the Stealth, this is basically exactly as you guys have seen me test it when I did the review of it. Except this time I'm just going to keep it at 9 degrees. I'm not going to loft it down. Probably better for me to err on the little bit higher side of spin. We're talking about a golf course flight. I don't want to have those knuckleballs that go 15, 1600 spin if I can avoid it. So right at 9 degrees, also just to keep it fair with the other two drivers so we can see the ball speed outputs. Again, the same Callaway shaft I tested with it last time. I believe that is a stock option. The only thing I've changed versus the first time I tested this is I very slightly moved the sliding weight into the toe. I don't think I need the full toe setting with this because it is pretty neutral to begin with. But I would like a little bit of that forgiveness against the overdraw shot. Going into it, the one thing probably to consider is the Rogue is not adjustable for heel to toe weight. I could open the face more, but I'm going to drop the loft. It's already a super low spin driver, so we'll see how important that ends up being. This is important to say it's for my ball flight. So my ball flight, my miss is getting too much of a draw, a little bit of a hook at times. So it's not going to be a representation of what's best for everyone. I certainly want to make sure you guys understand this is really a test for my purposes, but let's get into it. Let's hit all three of them and then we'll wrap it up and see how they do. It's a good first shot. Actually perfect. Yes. Actually a little bit of a low toe strike, so good on the driver. Fast, good launch and spin. It's a little low in the face, maybe a little bit in the heat. No, just low in the face, but that's a keeper all day. Spin came up a little bit, but that's to be expected. Controlled it well, kept it under 2800. That one felt really good. Turned over a bit, but I don't mind that. That's definitely in the fairway. Yeah, good efficiency. It's controlling launch and spin in a nice window. Okay, I'll have to see if that's the miss pattern. I said it does, to me it looks a little closed at address. It probably isn't, it's just my eye. But I do feel like I might fight the face angle a bit. Yeah, it wants to turn over a little bit. That's not bad. Better. She caught that a bit high in the face. Sort of your knuckleball, a little extra distance. Yeah, a little low spin, but kept it in play. Low strike, so low launch, but otherwise a good result. Good ball speed, spin stayed low. It's really good how that spin stays that low with that low of a strike. And that's me kind of overcompensating because I've seen it gone left to right so many times. It's a good start. It's knuckly, but I high-toed it, so not the club's fault. It's done awfully well. Yeah, high toe strike, but it actually kept that very much online. That's a really good feeling drive. A little low on the launch, but that might have been just a shade below center with the strike, but I really like everything else about that. Very straight little bullet. Yeah, just a bit low on the launch, but spin and ball speed were super good. Interesting. Okay, that's probably what the miss is going to look like with this driver, because I've obviously got it set up more fade biased. It wasn't the best swing, but I suspect if I miss one, that's what the miss will look like. I mean, that's pretty much perfect. Strike's a bit high if I'm being picky, and that's on me, but boy, is that good. That's quite a good feeling drive. That would probably be a left rough drive still in play, but I really prefer that as a miss. I mean, I have to say, they've gotten a lot better with the high part of the face, Cobra has. I lost ball speed there, a few miles an hour. Spin dropped, but that's a very usable, it's a very bad strike to be that usable. It's a better swing. Yeah, again, it definitely wants to stay down the left, which I really do prefer. Can really hit sort of a knuckly fade with this club. It's pretty consistent. I didn't strike that the best, but that's a pretty good performance for a low strike. Just kick the spin up a little bit, which you'd expect, because that's, I want to say 10 millimeters. Yeah, 12 millimeters low, so that did awfully well. Actually a little surprised to see that. I felt like I hit that well. Okay. Let's just shut the face a bit. It's a good one, kind of a high toe. It's done really well. A little slow on ball speed, but the result is great. Yeah, I kept the spin reasonable and it stayed on line. That one felt really good. That's kind of my ideal shape there. It's probably a little low in the face, so it spun up a touch, but that's pretty much the window of flight I like to see. Yeah. That's hit really well. Turned a little, but definitely would hit a fairway. Very similar. Probably hit a little bit better. That flight is really nice. Yeah, almost the same strike. Launch and spin are great though. It's really good too. Probably those last three are very, very similar, which I like to see. Kind of all 10 launch, 2200-ish spin. That's knuckled a bit, but that's done really well. So I struck that way high in the toe, which is on me. But yeah, it seems like all three of these drivers can do a good job on a high toe strike. That's probably one of the best high toe strikes I've seen. That's done really well. Just a bit low on speed and a bit low on spin. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, for the strike pattern I tend to get with this driver, it's doing really well. Keeping the launch in a pretty tight window, 10.5-ish and low 2000 spin. It's a little bit of a knuckler, but again, it's held on well. I mean, that's probably, you know, a right edge of a fairway or maybe just into the right rough. I hit one banana ball that was entirely on me. I think I blacked out and forgot my name for a minute. The funny thing about it is from there, a lot of these were very straight, like low offline numbers. The furthest offline, other than that one that I bananaed, was this, which is the last one, which to me is probably just barely in the right rough, or depending on how wide a fairway is. But regardless, in play, and I wouldn't take it out of the data. I struck these first two not great, and the speed wasn't up. It was very, very accurate, and I would take more of the total shots of the 10 than I did with the other two. The other two, I would definitely take a few out. The Stealth was the most controllable, and obviously this is quite a clear representation of that. It was the most evenly distributed left to right. Was it the fastest? No, but 2 strikes in there were in the 160s, which, generally speaking, those weren't good hits, but because they were so straight in the fairway, I certainly wouldn't want to take them out. And when you talk about, total yards and total, distance of carry and rollout, I probably wouldn't be that concerned about a 1 mile an hour ball speed difference, or in this case, a half mile an hour. For a driver that I would play on the golf course, Stealth is looking really good. The one thing I'll say is I'm playing different shafts in all 3 of these, so not that I'm saying you should put the same shaft in all 3. Different shafts can suit different heads, and the ones I put in there, I think suit the heads fairly well. I tend to strike Ventus Black. This graphic is such crap, but relatively, no, I didn't top the Rogue, but the highest strikes were with LTD, and I think the Ventus is the reason. Probably the softest playing shaft was that AV white, and that's probably why the strike got a little bit lower for me. Highest dynamic loft, lowest dynamic loft with the Ventus, and then somewhere in between with the Callaway, which is in the Stealth. When you look at these numbers, in fairness, I swung the LTD a little bit faster, so it kind of makes sense that the ball speed's a bit higher. When you look at the efficiencies of them, these two are the same, and for what it's worth, the Rogue is a tick higher. I wouldn't read too much into that, but overall what I'd say is 3 really good drivers. I think with tweaking and with fitting and maybe with different shaft choices, I could definitely play any one of these 3. There's subtle differences between them. The biggest thing is for me right now, the way I'm swinging, and it's mostly on me and I want to work on this, I do have a bit of a left to right overdraw miss going, so a bit of an advantage to Stealth and LTD because they can get a bit of toe weight or fade bias into them. But I mean, that's partially why you pick a driver, right? The Rogue's a great driver, but it's not as adjustable by the same standards, so that is something to consider. The one thing I'll say in general, I mean, it wasn't the best swing day for me. I think, I hit a lot of shots that are very much the pattern that I like to see, a lot of good drives that are, small draws or small fades with both. I do have a little bit of tightness in this right shoulder at the moment, so I did feel a little bit of restriction at the top of the swing, which is why I really couldn't push my speed past 120 or so, which is fine. I mean, that's golf course pace for me. I'm not upset with it. I would have liked to do kind of some silly swings at the end for you guys with the driver that I felt had the most potential. I'm going to save that because I just don't think I can really push this today without probably hurting myself, and I don't think the results will be all that great. So what I might do is I'll either do another video or I might just post a little short Instagram clip where I tweak these a little bit differently. What I would probably try is a different shaft in the Rogue. I would probably also try the Max LS versus the Triple Diamond, so that might be something I do in a future video. And then with the Cobra, I would probably try a different shaft combination. It may be a Ventus Blue or a Ventus TR or something a little bit less tip stiff than this. I just felt that this gave me a pretty low dynamic loft, which is great in many ways. But for my miss, I tend to get that too low, if anything. So the Stealth Plus is the closest to a driver I would play right now, which is something I thought I'd never say. You can see I put the weight just very slightly in the toe there. This Callaway, which you can get, I believe, as a standard offering from Taylormade, seems to suit me quite well. More to come. Let me know what you guys thought of the ball flights. Obviously, I was a little more consistent with the Stealth, but I haven't given up on any of them yet. So there'll be future videos maybe, or at least, as I said, little updates where I can tell you what I end up playing. But we still got a couple months before the season starts, so more tweaking for me to do. And I'll keep you guys posted. Thanks for watching.